social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
All right. Well, you saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know that Fani Willis is in deep soup again. Let's look at Amanda Timpson's case against the Honorable Fulton County DA, Fani Willis. Let's roll. And this was filed on April 14th of this year. If you're interested in watching, looking at this document, I'm not going to go through every nook and cranny of it. If you're interested in it, the link for it is down in the description. That's right. Your boy got the link down in the description before y'all had to remind me. Shout out to that. All right. Plaintiff's statement of material facts to which there exists no genuine issue in dispute. I love the way they write these things. These things are hilarious. Shout out to Attorney Williams. Ms. Timpson's initial employment was with the office in the Fulton County DA's Fulton County District Attorney. I shouldn't have said DA. Sorry about that. Ms. Timpson began working for the FCDA in 2018 under Paul Howard as Director of Gang Prevention and Intervention. All right. While under Paul Howard, her administration, Ms. Timpson performed the following tasks. She co-authored the 2020 Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Gang Prevention Grant, worked on capital campaign to establish for the establishment of the Fulton County's first ever Gang Prevention Youth Empowerment Center. And this is where it's located. I think I'm going to go down there one day. I think if enough people want me to, I'll go down there and check it out. Maybe catch up with a couple of the content creators who've been talking about Fulton County. Let me know if you want me to go check it out down below. Worked as an academic partner with the Professor Tim Dowd at Emory University, created program initiatives to implement within the Fulton County Gang Prevention and Youth Empowerment Center. Created a community-led steering committee to divert gang involved youth. Okay. So these are all the things that Amanda was doing while she was under Paul Howard. Let's keep going. Fani Willis becomes a Fulton County DA and hires Ms. Timpson through an extensive interview process. So she already worked there. Pretty much everybody had to rehire, had to reapply, I believe. So let's keep going. In November 4th, 2020, Fani sent an email to all current DA staff requiring each employee to apply for the position in her administration based on organizational chart that she provided. Okay. Ms. Timpson did so and interviewed on November 20th, 2020 in front of 9-member interview panel, which included Fani Willis. All right. On the 9th of December, Timpson was provided with an offer letter in the role of Juvenile Diversion Program Manager. The title was almost immediately reclassified as Program Director. I'm assuming director means more than manager, so I'll go with that. On the 11th of December, Ms. Timpson announced her executive leadership team to the entire DA office via an office-wide mailer titled Integrity Transition Hiring Announcement. Ms. Timpson's name is listed as a third. Down on the left-hand side, please join me in congratulating the following executive staff on being selected in the 2021-24 administration. Amanda Timpson was listed as program manager for juvenile diversion and on this document, let me see, but she was a director on the 9th. So like 2 days later, okay, so she's still manager, but I think that they're gonna probably change that somewhere. On the 14th, Ms. Timpson requested a bio. Ms. Willis requested a bio from Ms. Timpson stating the following. Ms. Timpson, our transition team has interviewed over 400 applicants to join the Fulton County District Attorney's Office 21 administration. These interviews are ongoing. Many decisions have not yet been determined, including final titles, salaries, and positions. However, I write to inform you, regardless of those pending decisions, you have been selected to join the 21 administration's executive leadership team. Okay, shout out. Ms. Timpson's title was reclassified shortly thereafter as Director of Juvenile Diversion. Okay, all that seems pretty upfront. Let's keep going. Ms. Timpson's job duties as Director of Juvenile Diversion. As Director of Juvenile Diversion, Ms. Timpson managed the 2020 grant as evidence in her being acknowledged for the grant itself as a project director, stating project manager or project director Amanda Timpson will serve as the Agape, I'm trying to think with it, anti-gang Prevention and Initiative Project Director, and her primary responsibilities will focus on goal implementation and staff oversight. She will provide leadership for the GIC, the AGAPE network, and the community assessment process. Additionally, she will lead weekly team meetings and monitor implementation and performance measures. Ms. Timpson is currently the Director of Gang Prevention and Intervention as FCDA. She holds a double bachelor's degree in sociology and African studies, as well as a master's degree and specialist degree in human behavior and adolescent advocacy. Additionally, she has earned certifications in crisis prevention, intervention, non-physical de-escalation skills, and CPR from the American Heart Association. Her formal education and training are complemented by more than 10 years of experience in case management, advocacy, education, and behavior interventions for programming with children, adolescents, young adults, and families. One of the most significant experiences Ms. Timpson brings to the AGAPE initiative is her 3 years of direct gang prevention experience as lead case manager. She cultivates rapport with 100 plus gang members in South LA to decrease gang and crime recruitment. Wow. Okay. Shout out to Amanda. Okay. That's a well-written bio. Shout out. Okay. I'll see you over there, Amanda. We see you as the project director of the OJJDP Gang Prevention Grant. Ms. Timpson receives multiple letters of recommendation for her exemplary work as a project manager of the Gang Prevention Grant. Ms. Timpson collaborated with Ian Elmore Moore and Michelle Henry to develop programs, create a budget, and author and implement the logical functions of the OJJDP Gang and Prevention Grant. And these are, if you're looking at this is during her deposition, during the various depositions. I don't have those access to those yet, but these are the timestamps for those deposition points. Ms. Timpson collaborated with multiple community stakeholders during the implementation of that gang and prevention grant. Michelle Henry complimented Ms. Timpson's work to another colleague and endorsed her contributions in an award and a grant award of the grant, stating she said her leadership was a critical component of securing the 2020 comprehensive anti-gang program and grant for more than $400,000 in the office of the Fulton County District Attorney's office. She said that, yes, this was what was written in here, and that's what Michelle, who worked with her at the time, said she had contributed. Okay. Ms. Timpson located and vetted and point of contact for the sub-awardees of this grant. All right. So it seems like they're laying a pretty solid foundation, that she had a pretty steady work history, and she was pretty well liked and very functional, very effective in her role. So, all right, part D. Ms. Timpson began to have issues with her direct supervisor, Michael Cuffey. Let's go. In early March 2021, so really just like 3 months in, Ms. Timpson told Mr. Cuffey that the grant itself prohibited his contemplated use of the grant money. So she would know because she was the one that wrote the grant. Ms. Timpson also began discussing her concerns with Mr. Cuffey, potential misuse of the grant money with her colleagues from March 21 to May 21. May 3rd, 21, Ms. Timpson voiced frustration with Mr. Cuffey directly to him via an email dated May 3rd, 2021. Ms. Timpson believed that the stifling of her work was the first actionable retaliatory action by Mr. Cuffey between March and May. Okay, when did this happen? This happened on May 3rd. Okay. On the same day, Ms. Timpson reached out to DA Willis requesting a meeting to discuss her concerns about suspected misuse. And she's expressed this, and I'll leave links to the videos that we've done where we've interviewed Amanda. She's very passionate about using this money correctly, because you can get in trouble if you use the money incorrectly. Okay, I totally understand that. All right, let's read this right here. Just days after Ms. Timpson reached out to Ms. Willis seeking refuge from the retaliatory actions and address her concerns, Mr. Cuffey confronted Ms. Timpson, telling her that DA Willis had reached out to him and that anything she said to DA Willis would be relayed back to him. This made Ms. Timpson feel as if she had nowhere to go to address her potential unlawful concerns. All right. We're going to blitzkrieg through this. On May 2021, Ms. Timpson was assigned a task of planning the Junior DA longstanding crime prevention summer program at the at-risk youth of Fulton County. Junior DA is designed to provide exposure to at-risk youth who reside in Fulton County, Georgia, and may seek to pursue a career in the legal profession, thereby bridging the gap between law enforcement and community's needs. Okay. I think it's interesting. Just pay attention to these youth should be Fulton County residents. Throughout the initial planning stages, Ms. Timpson again flagged decision of Mr. Cuffey that contemplated the misuse of funds. Mr. Cuffey discussed purchasing of iMac computer and other office credentials, which were prohibited. The concerns about misuse of funds were not just Ms. Timpson's alone. It was other members of the program's team shared fears of wrongdoing. For fear of experiencing retaliation themselves, they sent proof to Ms. Timpson via email. And there's an email link right there. Due to Ms. Timpson's attempt to hold Mr. Cuffey accountable, Mr. Cuffey removed her from the planning of Junior DA in the early part of June 2021. Ms. Timpson's exemplary work leads to invitation to the SB 440 meeting. On June 7th, 21, Ms. Timpson was invited to the SB 441. Let's start that again. On June 7th, 2021, Ms. Timpson was invited to the SB 440 meeting. I don't know why I want to call it something else. Scheduled for the following day by Jawara Mars, Executive DA Dasha Young, that name sounds familiar, and DA Willis to present youth-based initiatives that provided collaboration between multiple initiatives and departments within the DA's office. On the 8th, Ms. Timpson attended the SB 440 meeting. She facilitated a presentation for 8 people, including Chief Executive ADA Jawara Mars, Executive DA Dasha Young, and DA Fani Willis, Assistant Chief Investigator Dahana Griffin, Kelly Greenberg, and others. Ms. Willis and her team were so impressed with Ms. Timpson's work that Ms. Willis adopted several of her initiatives and gave Ms. Timpson a few deliverables to work on in her director's role. In addition, the deliverables to assist with the SB 440 unit. Okay. So I think it's coming across pretty well that Amanda was doing her job. I think that's without question. All right, let's keep rolling. I think we feel good about that. Let's keep going. Part G. Ms. Timpson continued to tell Mr. Cuffey that the proposed spending was unlawful and was placed on professional development plan without warning. Following the SB 440 meeting, again, where she did so well, Ms. Timpson reached out to Mr. Cuffey to update him on the meeting and subsequent deliverables. After being made aware of Ms. Timpson's attendance at the meeting, Mr. Cuffey accused Ms. Timpson of breaching the chain of command, and despite being previously invited to the meeting by then Chief Deputy ADA of the SB 440 unit, Jawara Mars. Wow. Following the 440 meeting, Ms. Timpson continued to inform Mr. Cuffey that his proposed spending plans violated the grant requirements. And I think we also got to remember Ms. Timpson's name is on the grant. So she is kind of considered the one that's going to be calling the shots. So if the money is misused, it really would fall on her. That's just how I understand it. Just 2 weeks after the 440 meeting, Ms. Timpson was placed on PDP by Mr. Cuffey, in part citing a breach of chain of command. The PDP, Professional Development Plan, was a personal attack on Ms. Timpson and transparent form of retaliation following her receipt and praise for her work. Mr. Cuffey's direct report Dexter Bond, y'all know Dexter, and the HR director, Kira Banks, did not know about the PDP. In fact, Mr. Bond stated that the electronic signature was not his and sent text responses on July 21 that included, "Wow, make me a physical copy. This is a problem." Mr. Bond also told Ms. Timpson she was removed in an effort to protect her. Mr. Bond never mentioned the performance as an issue. All right. So it seems like only people that know that she had work performance issues are the people that she had issues with. Interesting. Let's get down here to H. Ms. Timpson tells Mr. Cuffey about the junior DA's misuse of funds. And this is where the rubber's going to meet the road. Mr. Cuffey moved Ms. Timpson to the planning committee of junior DA in May of 2021, and the actual 2021 junior DA program started and began in July. The 2021 junior DA program applications restricted participants to Fulton County school attendees, explicitly stating school attendees attending must be a Fulton County. And there's going to be a reason why they say that. The flyer titled Junior DA District Attorney Summer Youth Program for 2021 states that the youth program accepts 6th through 9th graders from the Atlanta and Fulton County public schools. But APS is not. You could be in APS and be in Fulton County, then you could be in Fulton County schools. Okay, that makes sense. The district attorney's website regarding the 2021 junior DA program participants also states that the youth program accepts 6th and 9th graders from Atlanta and Fulton County public schools. On the first day of the junior DA program, the team facilitated icebreakers with the participants who introduced themselves and stated where they lived and attended school. Ms. Timpson became concerned when multiple participants shared that they were not Fulton County residents. Some were not even residents of the state of Georgia or the southeastern region of the United States. Wow. They went wild. They said, look, we're getting kids from everywhere. This is gonna be everybody. Everybody's gonna be a part of this. Natalie Zellner, Chief Deputy of Grants, which includes the Junior DA program, stated that following in relation to the type of children the Junior DA program designed to assist. At some point, I will add this. I readily communicate with the Department of Justice, and we discuss how children have no control over their 5 living circumstances, their environment, and how there is a lot of movement, especially among unhoused. And if a child applies and needs this, we are sure that the goal of the DOJ grant is to provide services in connection with at-risk youth. But these kids weren't at risk. You're going to find out in a second, these are not at-risk kids. They may not, again, be able to control their housing situation. For instance, if they start in one school and then transfer to another school, transfer to a different school, or if they start at a school and get suspended, they may also be required to transfer to a different school. That's not the problem. That what she's saying is real, but that's not what they're talking about. Ms. Simpson recognized that one of the child participants was an out-of-state resident of Wisconsin, which means that the participant did not attend an Atlanta or Fulton County school. Notably, this participant is the niece of Executive DA Dasha Young, according to the testimony from the youth's mother, and they give that information and a timestamp. Another out-of-state participant was a resident of Florida, and this participant was DA Willis's niece, according to testimony. This is why they were making so much hay about being a Fulton County resident. Several participants attended private schools, including Woodward and Pace Academy. Those are very fine private schools here in the Metro Atlanta area, both well-known institutions with tuition of $40,000 per year, which is not the type of at-risk youth described by Natalie Zellner, since the focus of the Junior DA program is crime prevention. Beginning in the second week in July, Ms. Timpson voiced her concerns with Mr. Cuffey and the Junior DA colleagues. In September 2024, how do we jump from July? 3 years after Ms. Timpson initially blew the whistle on the misuse of Junior DA funds, Michelle Henry, Director of Grants for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, sent a flurry of emails to the attendees of the Junior DA program ahead of her deposition seeking, direction on the legality of out-of-state youth participating in the 2021 Junior DA program. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, they're trying to circle the wagons. They're trying to figure out what happened, but they knew what happened. They was doing wrong. Ms. Timpson filed a grievance about the PDP and retaliation for reporting the perceived misuse of funds by Mr. Cafe. On July 7th, 21, Ms. Timpson reached out to Kira Banks, the head of personnel for the Fulton County DA's office, to request a meeting about Mr. Cuffey. On July 20th, so that's 13 days later, Ms. Timpson spoke with Ms. Banks about the PDP and the months of retaliation she endured. She reported an actual misuse of Junior DA grant funds by prohibited participants of the Junior DA program and suspected misuse of that grant funds. Ms. Banks said that she would escalate the matter to the Chief Deputy of Operations, Dexter Bond, and compiled and handwritten notes she took and sent them to Ms. Timpson via email. On the 26th, 2021, Ms. Timpson ran into Dexter Bond in the hallway. Ms. Bond said he had been meaning to reach out to Mr. Bond said he had been meaning to reach out to Ms. Timpson, and the two had an impromptu meeting in front of Mr. Bond's office regarding Ms. Timpson's concerns about the Junior DA program, having participants that violated the demographic requirements and the misuse of funds, issue perceived retaliation, and more. Okay. Shout out to Dexter Bond. Let's see what happens. Ms. Timpson tells Dexter Bond that she has legal claims against the department, and the DA demoted Ms. Timpson that same day. After talking in person with Dexter Bond on the 26th of July, Ms. Timpson went on to tell Mr. Bond in a text message, as it stands now, due to his actions, I have multiple lawsuits, equal opportunity commission violations, wrongful termination attempts, and other issues have left him out of pocket. I'm sure if DA Willis knew, she wouldn't be okay with this. Okay, I like that. 13 minutes later, Mr. Bond responded, "You are meeting with the DA today at 3 p.m." Ms. Timpson went into the meeting with Dexter Bond and Fani Willis at 3 p.m. on July 26, 2021. Upon entering the meeting and beginning to disclose the suspected misuse of federal grant funds, the DA Willis, Ms. Timpson was immediately cut off and was told that she would no longer be Director of Juvenile Diversion and that she was now going to be a file clerk. Her new supervisor was legal assistant Valencia Younger. Okay, so wow, she got knocked down from a director to a file clerk. On the 26th, was the first time Ms. Timpson was told the DA Willis was unhappy with her work. In an email from Ms. Timpson asking clarifying questions regarding the logistics of her demotion, Ms. Timpson attempted to put DA Willis' misconceptions to rest. As it became clear to Ms. Timpson, this was what Mr. Bond had meant when he warned her that she was being set up to be the fall guy. The day after her demotion, Ms. Timpson, in fact, the only time Ms. Timpson was ever told directly by DA Willis that there was a problem was her work was on July 26, 2021, after sending text messages back about the lawsuit against the department, and within 2 days of her former lawyer sending demand letter on November 16th, 2021, discussing misuse of funds for participants that lived outside Georgia regarding the Junior DA program. All right, this is getting pretty wild. So we can see pretty clearly here that Amanda didn't have problems. With Fani before Amanda pulled out and said up front, like, hey, you guys are out of pocket and using this equipment wrong, using these grant funds and resources wrong. And I can tell you for a fact, man, the idea that they were shipping kids in, that doesn't surprise me one bit. Not a bit at all. Because I'm telling you, that's what they do here in Atlanta. That's exactly what they do. Those summer programs, those good summer programs, become who's kids. So I'm totally with that. I believe it. And they probably did use that grant money for the wrong things too. I mean, that's exactly what they do. But I will I'm gonna leave the link. I'll leave the link to this down in the description. You can finish reading the whole thing. It's about 21 pages, and it's a pretty well done narrative. If you want, I'll come back and do it again, finish it up. I will leave the links to all the videos I've done with Amanda Timpson down in the description so you can check them out and hear her telling the story in her own words, because it is pretty powerful. And we'll keep our eyes on it because her case is going to be coming up this summer. So prayerfully, she'll get some real resolution. So let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you to everybody who's helping us hit our goal of 50,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.